Welcome back, Global War 1939. We're moving on to the Allied Turn 8 review, and definitely quite a bit happened on this turn, this go around. Definitely a little more busy than the previous turns. So the Russians, they had $40 to spend. Now they unlocked a new tank, so they went ahead and purchased that. It attacks and defends at an 8, so definitely quite worth it. But they're only allowed to build one per turn. But luckily for the Russians, even though they can only build one of each type, really per turn outside of the medium, they all cost the same. They're all $6, so they're all, for what you get, they're all really cheap. Most of the German tanks, they're heavier, more advanced tanks, cost 8, so definitely way more expensive. And the Russians bought one of their newer fighters, which actually got unlocked on round 6, but they went ahead and purchased it now. Got some more infantry, so that's pretty decent. They went ahead and collected 27. So you can see their economy starting to shrink now that Germany has really captured most of their territory. For the Russian maneuvers, they went ahead and attacked Narvak, which is a problem for the Germans because Narvak's tied into a $5 bonus. But they position themselves, or the Germans are in position to essentially retake this entire region away from the Russians. So that'd be another $4 away from the Russians, lowering their economy even more, getting rid of a decent sized army, which is this card here. So 3 light tanks, 3 heavy artillery, airborne, artillery. So they'll be able to easily take all that out. No issues. 2 partisans did pop up here. Again, that's our fault, and we'll have to deal with that. Other than that, the maneuvers, they added 3 more infantry via train down in the Middle East. They brought down 3 more KV-2s down to Iran. So then the next turn, if this is still here next turn, they can link up with their main force. So that's pretty decent. They put all their purchases in Novosibirsk, because that's their only real factory that they have now, and adding a few more units here, but the bulk of their infantry got moved out, so they only got 2 regular infantry here now. 2 infantry attacked the Japanese in China here. The Russians did declare war on the Japanese, so what that does is it makes the Mongolia rule now completely off the table. Mongolia will be a strict neutral for the rest of the game, and it also gives the Japanese 3 free infantry in Tokyo. So we've already gone ahead and placed those down. That's pretty much it for the Russians. Their navy did move, still off the coast of Britain. And so just reinforcements did the 1 attack there. They did a second attack. If you remember, the Japanese did put down 2 destroyers to block the Americans from getting in this sea zone. But the Russian bombers, their 2 light bombers came and removed those 2 destroyers, but losing a bomber in the process, which then allowed the Americans to come down with 2 transports and attack Shanghai, capturing it with 2 Marines. So the factory's gone, the 2 air transports are gone. So this is quite unfortunate. Now the Japanese are in position to respond. They'll easily retake all this back, but it's more of a distraction, and it gave the U.S. an extra $6 on this turn that otherwise they would have not have collected. So now for the British over here, they kind of surprised me to a degree. I thought they would throw a bunch of units up in their capital, but they never. They didn't add anything up in Britain. They went in and attacked this force here, which had 4 German units and 3 Spanish units. They brought out units from Africa, Canada, and the entire Portuguese army came into this territory. They lost 4 infantry in the process, but they captured it with 8 units to spare. So the Italians will have to deal with this force here. The Americans came up and attacked Seville, blocking off Portugal, even though it's empty, but we got no way to get to it, and blocking off Gibraltar, so we can't just roll in our tanks, our fast movers, to take out Gibraltar. Britain did put an airbase here, so they do have a fighter, so they have a scramble ability. The Spanish Navy got destroyed by the British. Mutual destruction with all the Navy. The British survived with 1 heavy bomber, and that flew to this territory here. Their backup, they didn't really maneuver a lot here because they took a lot of the units out from Rio de Janeiro up to Spain. The units that they had in Morocco came up to Spanish Morocco to attack that. The units that they had in Tripoli now moved to Cyrenaica, so now there's a big standoff between the British and the Italians. So I was wondering when they were going to make this move, and they went ahead and did it now. So this is going to be interesting how this is going to play out, and we'll have to see. Very interesting indeed. And in the Middle East, the British, the units that they had in southern Iran moved up to this territory to help out the defense with the Russians. They moved up 1 infantry in Baku, effectively blocking this German army from moving 2 spaces down. So that's another unfortunate turn of events. FEC, they brought their entire force from their capital in Calcutta, moved up 1 space, put down a fort. So FEC bought a fort and an infantry this turn. So not really advancing in a lot of military assets, but that fort is very problematic for the Japanese if they decided to attack. It would cause a lot of headache. So we'll see how all that plays out. The Japanese, this might be purposely stalemated. We'll see. China, they had all their force here, and they opted to liberate these 2 territories with lone infantry, as just walk-ins, and the rest of their force came here. The Japanese do have a bit of infantry up here, but it's being distracted. This force is going to be quite challenged to bring down, but we'll see how all that goes. The Chinese did purchase 1 infantry, collected $6, so now they have 7 total. And then FEC, or Anzac, sorry, went ahead and purchased an air base and a radar tower and placed them both in Dutch New Guinea. And then the American and Anzac fleet came up to 88, bringing up their air force. So now they have a scramble of 4 fighters, and all 4 fighters get a +1. So if the Japanese do decide to remove those navies, it'll be quite a handle with those extra fighters added. So we'll see how all that plays out. Now, if we'd known this, maybe we probably should have attacked last turn, because then, yeah, the scramble still would have been there, but they wouldn't have had the extra fighter and the +1 to all 4. So maybe that was our mistake, leaving this alone. This probably should have been attacked last turn. Now, for the Americans and the Canadians, they just purchased 5 new infantry, placed them all in Canada, and they also have access to 2 transports, so we'll see how those units get deployed next turn. I got an idea of where they're going to go, but we'll see based off his moves. For the Americans down in South America, they went ahead and activated Colombia, so now they're perfect position to activate Peru and Venezuela next turn, giving them $2 more. Moved up their forces here, so I would assume they'll attack Chile, as Chile is pro-Axis. That's really, and the Americans did come in and attack Seville, remaneuvering their navy slightly, bringing down 2 more Marines down to Rio de Janeiro. They have a fighter in this Portuguese territory, which can help out with the Americans here in Gibraltar. On their American purchase, they've actually bought quite a bit. They deployed a good chunk of it here. So now they got a destroyer, 3 transports. They got some heavy artillery, Marines, infantry, tanks. So they got quite a bit. So we'll see where that ends up next turn. And then the Americans, they just brought up their last purchase of Navy, linked up with this Navy here. So this is quite a bit, so we'll have to see how we're going to deal with that. Right now, the Americans are outproducing the Japanese in Navy, which is, pretty standard. That happens most games, as they are making way more money. I believe they collected 139 this turn. But obviously now with these Philippines and their holdings here in China, this will be removed, so that 130 odd will get reduced down again back to their normal income. But South America is providing quite a bit of income to the Americans. On the American purchase, they've got another battleship carrier, fighters, more destroyers, a lot more infantry, artillery, and they deploy those between both the Pacific and the Atlantic. So the Americans are, yeah, it takes a couple turns for the Americans to really get going, but now they're full steam. So we'll have to see, and they're putting most of their attention in the on the Pacific side. They got a little bit going on in the Atlantic, but for the most part, it seems like they're going after the Japanese quite heavily. So we'll have to see. And our main fleet is here, kind of way out of position for that, for the combined American fleet up north. So we'll see how all this plays out. All right. That is it for the Allies. Moving on to the Italians and then the next round. All right. Well, thank you for watching. Have yourself a great day.